Good morning. Peace and blessings. Good morning. How's everybody? So today is a Jupiter day. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. How are you doing? Thank you for being here this morning. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody this morning? Good morning. Good morning. Um, what are we doing? Like discovering the ways that we participate in this culture, and as Black people, how can we begin to take on a way of identifying in this reality so that we don't participate in a system that is racist and destructive against us unconsciously? Because what we're doing now that's what's happening. We're literally participating without understanding that we're doing it. And so it's important for us to understand. Thank you. Thank you, Stacy. I was just about to call you just data girl, but Stacy, she's my friend. Okay. So what we're up to for this month is going through the energies so that we can begin to tell ourselves a new story, a new narrative, because it's important to understand. First of all, let me say this. Today is my child's birthday. I have a 15-year-old, um, and his name is Zion, and today is his birthday, and he was born 2007, February 3rd at 12:17 in the afternoon. He came in an hour of the moon, and literally when I looked at what hour he was born in and it said the moon, I was like, "Oh, I really am the moon mama." Like it's real. I'm really the moon mama for real because I've talked with you guys before that my son has an extra chromosome, and they call it Down syndrome in this culture, but it's not really that. What it is it's a code. It's a code that allows these individuals to live one leg on this side of the plane and one leg in the other, right? So they literally are in two realities at the same time. Yes, he is an Aquarius. And so the thing that's very significant about my relationship with my child is that he's just this extraordinary being. That's all I can say. He's just this extraordinary being. And I'm really grateful to be his mother. And it's been the one thing that has given me the courage and the desire to really live well. Being a mother has helped me do that. Like who I am today comes from having a child. Once I bought a child here, I was like, oh, I gotta fucking fix this shit because I will not have my son be imposed upon by a system that is out of alignment with his divinity. Like I will single-handedly fix this shit. And that's what I'm doing. And that's why I do what I do, because I'm preparing a world, preparing an opening that will allow not just my child, but all children the the possibility to live into their truth, into their greatness, right? Because what we do in this culture is that we don't teach to bring out, we teach to put in. And that's what white supremacy is. It is like giving them direction and how to be, and it forces them to go against how they are, right? And so we are breaking we are literally dissolving that within our own consciousness. We have to dissolve it in our own consciousness. um yes. So okay, today is a Jupiter day. Today is a Jupiter day. And we are literally this month, we are doing the ritual, the altar ritual to really free ourselves. And it's important to understand that freedom really starts in the mind, it starts with the thinking. And that's why I've been asking the questions: how do we participate? How are we, how are we as Black people participating in an experience that creates our oppression. Your why also lets me know why you are so good at what you do. I get it. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. Um, so we are participating, and I want to say these are the things that are important to know, right? The identity of black and white is a made up construct. They are not real. Before 1419 or in the 1400s, they created what they call black and white to support the slave system so that they felt good about what they were doing. They just needed to feel good about it. That's basically it. Sorry, I think I forgot to button up my dress. Yeah, so they needed to feel good about the things that they were doing. They needed to be able to justify it. So they created this narrative of Black people being inferior to white people. So that's really significant to know that it's literally just a made up narrative. It is a lie. The Portuguese did it, and they did it so that they could then begin to take people from Africa and move them to the islands, right? So the slave trade began first in the islands. It didn't come to the States until the 1600s, but it began in the 1400s or 1500s in the islands. And it was started by the Portuguese. And after the Portuguese, then there were all the Europeans jumped on board. And it is what it is. And so when we understand where it comes from, we can begin to extract our own thinking. We can begin to reorganize our own mindsets around it. And so, because we bought into a lie and a system that is designed to oppress us, we have to see how our minds are aligned to it. So, that's the first thing to understand. Whiteness and blackness are constructs that were created by humans for the purpose of driving a slave system. Before we were considered black people, we were Moors. We were tribal people. We were, and I will say this, that those of us who initially came, the people who started coming first, right? Because it's important also to know that there were Africans who sold other tribes into slavery. Now they didn't intend for it to turn into what it did, but it was something that was going on. And why were they selling other Africans? Why, right? Because there was a group of Africans who were let's say, I don't really like this language, but let's say that they were different than other Africans. We're all different, right? We all have different gifts and abilities, and we all have different ways of functioning. None is better or worse, but we are different, right? We function different to the reality. And if you look at what people in America have done, Black people in America have done, look at the way our energy, our culture has infiltrated the entire world. Our creations have impacted the entire world. Why? Because there's something significant about us. And when you understand the full story of what we have endured to be where we are, you can look at it from an internal perspective and realize that there is something quite supernatural about us. Really, you just have to look at what it is. You have to give yourself permission to understand what we actually endured in those 250 years of captivity. And then after 250 years of captivity, we experience 150 years of terror, right? And so after 250 and 150 years of terror, that's 400 years. So for 50 years, actually, there's only been 50 or 53 years where there has actually been what we would call uh, uh, what they would call equality, what they would call equality, right? And what is going on is we have been so traumatized and dumbed down. The attempt to make us equal has been to dumb us down, right? Because we are not equal to people who would do what is being done now. And I want us to understand this is not to create an experience of villains, right? Because everything is divine. Everything happens under the watch of heaven. Let's say it that way. Under the watch of the higher consciousness, under the watch of the creator. Everything is aligned to that. And there are no other people who could have built this system. We are the only ones because we carry the original DNA of man. We are the only ones who could do it, and it had to be done. So the way it was done, of course we can question that, but it had to be done, right? And now the system is completely up. And because we were because we were inextricably tied to the system, right? The system is built out of our blood and bone. Literally, women for 250 years laid down and gave birth to baby after baby after baby after baby that were then sent from one state to the next to 10 crops that were with free labor for 250 years of free labor, which created the foundation of this system. The free labor created the foundation of this system, which made this country very powerful because of our free labor. And not only did we give free labor, but we also gave product and creations that developed this nation that allowed it to flourish. We created those things. We created, and this for me, Black History Month is not about what we created, because we created all of it. Whether we created it because other people could rest and dream up creations like stoves and refrigerators and shit, but we created all that shit. All that is our creation. And so the more we understand how it worked, then we can understand the power that was generated within us. If you understand how energy works, when you suppress the energy, when you push it down, when you take it and you push it down, the pressure, it will begin to then generate, because life has to live, right? Because life has to live, and we are the core of life. So under the pressure, we find new ways to live where other people would die, where other people would succumb, where other people would get diseases and break down, and we flourished. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand the nature of the core of who we are so that we can begin to redefine the narrative on our own terms and not continue to take on the stories of these experiences and these people that are telling stories that only dictate our trauma and demise and suppression and all of those, and oppression and all of those kinds of things. It is important for us to understand that we are the way showers, that we are the builders, that we are the architects, that we are the creators, that we have endured through things that are inhumane because we could endure, because we are capable, because we are that powerful. We are invincible. We are invincible. And it requires that we move into a mindset to understand the practicality of our invincibility, right? Like, so Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and blessings and faith, and Jupiter is currently at the 7th degree of Pisces. And Jupiter is the original owner, the original ruler of Pisces. And Jupiter is this really benevolent energy. And so when we think of Jupiter in Pisces, water, a few days ago I was saying that we want to look at us because everything here is the same. Everything here is elemental in this earth realm, right? So if everything is elemental, I would say that Black people are water, white people are fire, Asian people are air, and Native people, red people are earth, right? And so what we have to understand is as we begin to embody the water and think about water, right? Water takes on any form that you give it, right? So water will freeze, water will become steam, water will hold temperature. That is who we are. That is what we do. We do it so beautifully and elegantly. Isn't it amazing? We're fucking incredible individuals. We are incredible beings. We cannot be destroyed. We are invincible. But we have to understand that in our minds, and we have to see the world like everything is happening for us and that nothing is happening against us. Because if we cannot see the truth of our energy, if we keep telling ourselves stories like, oftentimes, I don't know, is there a Black person in the room that hasn't been in a group of Black people where we begin to have conversations about white people and how horrible they are and how this they are and how, like, we have to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. And we can't do it from a space of victimization. We have to do it from a space of understanding that we are really generating the reality because of the laws of nature. We are the ones who actually have the power. In my studies of like interesting things, like I studied for a little while, this is why I'm wearing my thing today, BDSM, right? The submissive, the bottom is the power. The bottom is what the bottom has agreed. The person who is the submissive person has agreed, has said yes to that submissive role. And so it is important for us to come to realize that and begin to, in our own consciousnesses, take back the power. Take back the power. Take back your agreement. Take back the stories that were told because they've given us these stories because the mind literally is how they keep us trapped. Turn off the media. Stop participating. That's why this month is about how are we participating so that we can begin to stop participating. Destroy the contracts. In your mind, it's only right. Absolutely. Destroy the contracts in your consciousness. And here's what you do you get a piece of paper, right? You get a piece of paper and you write down I free myself from any and all contracts of this lifetime and all others through this time space continuum, right? You want to so you want to write it out because writing is a way of creating a new reality. You want to speak it because speaking is a way of creating a new reality. And then you want to, like I free myself from the contract of capitalism and the way because capitalism was built upon our system. I free myself from the contracts of capitalism and the ways that I've been indoctrinated in. I free myself from the contracts of Western religion and the ways that I've bought into this idea that I need a savior outside of myself. I free myself from the contracts of, notions of whatever the systems are, right? Like all these systems around romantic love and all this sort of shit. It's all white. Sometimes I'm just so angry, right? Because it just feels like fire inside of my system is what it does. But it's all systems that keep their power in place. As long as we participate, we keep fueling the systems, right? So these fairy tales of love coming and not feeling like, all that's bullshit. All that don't mean nothing. It's all like, ugh, ugh, right? But those stories are true for white women because white women don't have power in the way that black women do. So for us to buy into their narratives and align ourselves to their energetic frequencies through our mentality lessens our power because we agree to things that are not actually ours to be agreed to, but it is for them. It's for them. So let them agree to it. Let them live into it in the way that they choose to and bless it. It's all good. Let them do them. Have at it, right? And so, on a day like today with Jupiter, it's important for us to really understand our massiveness, our indestructibility, our invincibility, our capability of being able to renew and revitalize and refresh ourselves in ways that others cannot. Because we embody the sun, because the sun fuels us, when we change our minds, we become filled with light. And as we become filled with light, we will literally break away the shadows because what has been occurring is when they created this system of black and white, a duality was created where we split the psyche, right? And the psyche was split. White is good, black is bad. So we are the holders of the shadow. And the shadow is where the power is, right? So that's why we generate all the power in this culture because we are the holders of the shadow, because they have created this scenario that says we are not like that. And so then they come into our communities and extract, they come in and get football players and basketball players and, like, because, they create poverty and all of that. And so then we are scrambling, trying to find ways to fit in and how we gonna make it out of here and we gotta go to college. You gotta go to college. You gotta go to college. These motherfuckers have tricked us. They have tricked us. And let me tell you, it's good. It was a good trick. It was a good trick, but it's over now. So they come in and then extract us and make us football players and basketball players and to make to literally bolster their systems, to bolster their economy, right? You have the highest rates of diabetes, you got the highest rates of breast cancer, you have the highest rates of all of that sort of stuff. Why? So that we go into their systems seeking solutions and then powering them and generating them. That's right, the military to fuel their do you get it? Like, these folks are tricky. They are tricky. And guess what? So what? It's a good game. It's a good game. It's a good game. So here's the thing. We are going to just stop playing the game. Just get off the game. Just get off the ride. That's what we're doing. We're getting off the ride. And to get off the ride is just to free your mind. That's all it is. And to understand that your God is not their God. Their God is money. Their God is capitalism. So do not make money your motherfucking God. That is the stupidest shit in the whole wide world. And many of us believe it. If I just had more money, I would be. But look at all the rich people who are miserable. They have more money. They have more money, and it doesn't have any value because money is not God. But money is their God. But when we turn into who we are and wake up, we become their God. Do you get it? Because we are generating their capital. Do you understand? Do you get it? Do you get it? You get it? All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Okay. Y'all not going to find this teaching nowhere else. People don't get it. People don't understand because we've been looking in the wrong places. You cannot solve the problem at the level at which the problem was created. So you cannot march. You cannot legislate this shit. You have to change your mind and your heart. So when we begin to recognize who we are and take our power back, we become their God because their God is money and we are the generators of their capital. So thank you. Peace and blessings, you all. Have a beautiful day. Share the video. I love you so very much. Happy birthday to my beautiful child, who is a beautiful God in this lifetime. And I'm so grateful to be his mother. And for all of you out there, peace and blessings. Have a beautiful day. I love you so much. Bye bye. Yes, they create the problems and the solution. Exactly. It's nonsense. Peace and blessings, everyone. Bye bye.